Hi there. My name is Professor Catherine Roman, and I will be your physics professor for this spring 2025 semester for Physics 131. All right, a few things to go over and a couple things that I really want to point out, especially at the beginning of this semester. My office is located on the Williams campus, which is right in between ASU Polytechnic and Mesa Gateway Airport. So way out in East Mesa. I am on campus Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 10:30 to 1 in my office in Baylor, and then 11:45 to 1:15 in Thomas 106. That is between two of my in-person classes. I will also have appointments, most likely on Thursday mornings, but that may change to Mondays or Fridays depending on the week, but I will post weekly announcements with those schedules in advance. So this is an asynchronous course. However, it is not self-paced. So you will have weekly assignments that are going to be due every Sunday that are required. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to work on these throughout the week and not wait till Sunday to do this. In fact, most of the feedback that I get when I asked my previous students, like, what would you do better or what advice you would give? And almost every one of them says, start your work early. Okay. Physics 2 can be a challenging course. It is kind of unique material. We can't really visualize it like we can with Physics 1 in terms of forces and motion. We're doing a lot of E&M, which is electric fields, magnetic fields, electromagnetic fields, and things like that. So you need time to be able to understand it and not just try to bust out all your work in one day. So our weekly schedule, I will post all modules, our weekly modules on Monday, and it is all due on Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Okay. Please note that many weekends I am out of town or my kids are in sports, they're wrestlers and softball players, so I'm not always available to answer emails over the weekend. So that is another important reason why you should make sure that you're working on this work throughout the week and then finishing it up by Sunday. Okay. Our grade breakdown is pretty simple. We've got coursework, lab work, quizzes, and a final exam. Our quizzes will, I'll get to that in a minute. So our coursework is going to compile of two things. One, you're going to have a weekly CFU, which I call a check for understanding. If you were in my class, I'd be asking you guys questions or asking you to talk about certain concepts to make sure that you understood. So this is kind of the basic information, like the easy one-step questions to ensure that you understand the basics of the concepts and the content. Expert TA is an online program that you will do for your problems. All right, so this is like doing text work problems. These are bigger problems that you will probably take a little bit longer to do. Okay. You have 5 attempts at each of the problems, and it does give you feedback, sometimes better feedback than others. But you will have 5 attempts, and then each attempt, your score will be reduced by 5%. All right, if you are really lost or you submit an answer, you're really lost, don't just keep trying. Okay, reach out. I'm going to go over that in a minute on different ways that you can reach out in order to get help on these. All right, one thing that I do is that you can submit handwritten solutions or explanations of your answers that you got wrong. So if you use 3 or 4 attempts and you're losing 15 to 20% on that question, not on the whole assignment, on that question, you can submit a handwritten solution, and then later in the semester I will bump that up and give you those points back. So our labs, this is a lab-based course, and it's 3 credits for lecture and 1 credit for lab. We do that integrated, and so 25% of your grade is your labs. Most of our labs, weeks 1 through 5, and then later on, kind of 10 through 15, are all going to be simulations, obviously with an online course and with the content that we're learning. I use a lot of PhET simulations, Phizlets, and then some other programs like Physics Aviary. I usually provide videos, if I provide you a video, look at it. The only reason I make videos for my labs is because I have a lot of questions about the same thing. And so a lot of times I will make a lab video to walk you through the program or show you how to do something. So please take advantage. The middle section of our course is all circuits. You will have to pick up a lab kit. This is provided with your lab fee. It is free because of your lab fees, and I will have instructions during week 3 on how to pick that up. Unfortunately, that means coming here to Williams campus. I'll have 1 or 2 options on the Pecos campus to pick up as well. But essentially it's going to be a circuit breadboard kit and then a multimeter. If you are really not willing to come pick it up, I do provide links to purchase the materials on Amazon. It's roughly about $25. So your choice whether you want to drive to come get it or buy it yourself. Okay, weekly quizzes. So instead of doing unit exams, I do a weekly quiz. These quizzes do add up. They're worth a quarter of your grade. The reason I do this is because I don't want to get too far before you realize you don't understand something. Feedback from students in the past tell me that it really makes them have to stay on top of their work. So you can't just kind of take a week off and, oh, well, I'll do my work next week before the exam or cram before a unit test. So it really makes you do this work weekly. The material really does build on itself. We have 3 major units, which is electrostatics, circuits, and then E&M. And so each week in those 3 units, they really do build on each other, so you don't want to fall behind. You will use Lockdown Browser with a proctoring. For these, you will have between 30 to 40 minutes, depending on the week. Every quiz is worth 10 points. Sometimes, like week 1's quiz is 10 1-point questions, and sometimes it'll be, 3 or 4 questions worth multiple points. If most of them are problem solving, those problem solving, you will have to upload a document showing your handwritten solutions or problems for that so I can see your work. That is actually to benefit you because I go back and hand grade these. And if it's a 3-point question and you got the answer incorrect, then that's a 0, right? But if I go back and look at your handwritten work and see, oh man, you did everything, but you forgot to convert this centimeters to meters. And so I'll give you partial credit for that. So, and it's also to ensure that you yourself are doing this work and you're not just, Googling things. That doesn't help. Okay. Please take these seriously. I know there's a lot of integrity issues with online classes. If you are in Physics 131, that means you are most likely either a physics major, but most likely an engineering major. And a lot of you are probably electrical engineering majors. This is content that you're actually going to use. We are building your knowledge in order to apply this in future courses and more importantly, future jobs. All right, so making sure you understand these is crucial to your future. I am trying something new this year where some weeks I will be combining 2 weeks into one larger 20-point quiz. However, I will let you know in my weekly announcement at the beginning of the week if that is happening. Okay. Now, the benefit of my weekly quizzes is that I allow quiz retakes. And so after I hand grade, I always go over answers to make sure that they were graded properly. And then I will send out an announcement saying, okay, quiz number 2 is now released. And then I have a Google form in our quiz retake module, which is always going to be at the bottom of our course. And that will have a sign up in order to request a retake. A retake will be very similar, similar format, just maybe different numbers or a different question. If you had a 5-volt battery, now you might have a 12-volt battery or something like that. I take the highest of the 2 scores, so it is a no-fault retake. I highly recommend taking advantage of this. My students who go into the final with A's have usually taken advantage of these quiz retakes when needed. Our final exam is worth 25%. And this is very important to understand that this is an in-person exam. This was in the notes in Find a Class. When you signed up for this course, it stated that you would have to come to campus for certain exams. I am only requiring 1 time coming to campus for an exam. I have there in May, Tuesday, May 6th and Wednesday, May 7th. There are 4 opportunities for you to sign up for. I understand that people work, people have other classes and whatnot. You are supposed to be a Maricopa resident in order to take this class. However, I understand that some people may not be in Maricopa. There are proctoring services that you can sign up for to take an in-person proctoring, and they usually have a cost involved. For instance, even Rio Salado, if those times don't work for you, you can sign up at Rio Salado to go in person, and I believe they charge $25. It's usually between 5 to, I think 40 is the highest I've seen, depending on the on the service. Most local community colleges offer this service. I will have more details with this in April for you to sign up and commit to a time slot, or for you to sign up and register to take your exam through a proctoring service. Once again, there is no online quiz or final exam. It is all in person on paper that you have to show up and show your ID. If you do not pass my final exam, then you do not pass the course. All right. Obviously, with integrity on online courses, I need to make sure that you are, in fact, the person who are understanding this information. And if you come into my exam with a high B and you get a 10%, then obviously you didn't do any of that work. All right. And so most of my students who do the work do very well on my final exams. So please keep that in mind throughout the semester. Just make sure that you are taking this course seriously and doing the work yourself. My late work policy is actually pretty lenient. For courseworks and labs, I do an automatic 10% per day. Okay, I get people get busy, things happen and whatnot. It is only 10% per day. So if you turn something in on the Monday instead of Sunday, you can still get up to 90% on that assignment. Because of that, I do not grant any extensions. All right, so there are no extensions, particularly for labs and coursework. Late quizzes are not a thing either. Those will close at midnight on Sunday, so please plan accordingly. And obviously, the final exam has to be done that week, Monday, May 5th through Thursday, May 8th. And again, more details will be given later in the course. So you have some prerequisites and co-requisites. This information here is something that I expect you to already know. I will review things. However, should not be the first time you see things like significant figures or scientific notation. If you need more help on any of these, please reach out. I will have a physics resource module that has a few extra of these things in order for you to take a look at them or to relearn them. Maybe you haven't done scientific notation. Well, you should have, but maybe not. I don't know. And then things like vector addition, making sure we're using Pythagorean theorem. We're going to use that as soon as week 2 or 3. We're going to be analyzing some graphs, doing some derivatives and integrals. We're not necessarily proving them, we're just using them. And then later on, we're going to be looking at some dot and cross products. Again, we're not doing proofs on these, we're using the concepts. So when you learn all of this information in your math classes and your calc classes, those are tools that we're now going to use and apply. All right, so we're taking those tools that you have and using them to solve physics problems. So on an online course, the most important thing is to set yourself up for success. Okay, make a weekly schedule. As I mentioned before, we have our weekly breakdown. You're going to have lecture notes from me and suggested readings or suggested other videos. But my lecture notes are the most important, not being, conceited, but obviously I base them based on what I want you to learn that week. Then our little check for understandings, those are little practice quizzes or practice questions you can take over and over and over again until you get the correct answer. They're kind of those basic concepts. And then we've got 1 to 2 labs, either 2 smaller labs or 1 larger lab, and expert TA problems, and then finish up with the quiz. All right, so you may want to do lecture notes and check for understanding one day, and then start working on your problems or lab simulations. So if you can set yourself up with a weekly schedule, just like you would if we had an in-person class, That is the best way to stay on top of all of this work. Okay, I'm here to help you, so please ask. I will put in weekly discussions. A lot of times you're going to get answers quicker if you put a discussion question. For instance, hey, I'm really stuck on question number 5 in expert TA. Like, anybody have any suggestions? I will get back within a 24-hour with an email, but sometimes your peers can help you as well. Our Chandler Gilbert tutoring centers are amazing. I have a lot of former students who work in there who have taken my particular classes and know how I run things. So they are an excellent resource. Okay. Please make sure you are taking notes. I do post my PDF notes that go along with my lecture videos weekly. Watching me do practice problems can be very helpful, but then actually doing them yourself is going to be even more helpful, and then using mine as a resource. Okay. I will also set up an option for people to kind of get to know each other, or if you want to work on labs together, that is completely fine. I highly encourage it. You should work with people. So if you know somebody in this class, or you want to, set up a Discord or get together online or even in person to work through some of the labs or expert TAs, I highly recommend it. Just obviously make sure that you're always turning in your own work. Okay. So once again, my name is Professor Roman. I'm here to help you. I love teaching physics and I love helping people work through this. It can be a lot of fun. We're going to look at some really cool information and really cool content this semester. So yeah, I hope we have a great semester. And as always, reach out if you have any questions.